Well, I'm Ray Edmondson. I'm a consultant, and I consult in the field of audiovisual archiving. So I have a number of roles in this field. I'm the Curator Emeritus of the National Film and Sound Archive of Australia. I have a number of involvements in UNESCO's Memory of the World program, and I write and speak on subjects related to audiovisual archiving. I think we've always been concerned about the rate of loss. Audiovisual archives are too few, too poorly supported, and don't have enough money for the huge task. And now that we're moving into the digital era, we face the enormous problem of transferring content from analogue material, analogue tapes, to digital. There's so much in so many archives around the world that it's probably impossible to be sure that everything can be moved across. There are not enough machines and not enough skilled operators, and the machines are not made anymore, so they will wear out before the task is finished. Well, you need to have audiovisual archives in whatever form they exist. They exist in many institutional forms to undertake the collection, the preservation, and the organisation of the material, and then also to make it accessible, subject to copyright limitations and so on. That's what the institutions need to do, and in the end, no one else will do that for the public. Commercial organisations will look after their own material for commercial reasons. Individuals will make their own collections, but individual collections often disappear when the individual disappears. So you must have continuing institutions who will carry this task forward for many decades into the future. Well, you need to have professionals who are trained in both of the theory and the practice of archiving of all kinds of materials, not only audiovisual but paper and born digital documents and so on. There's a lot to know and a lot to learn about managing a collection, about selecting material in the first place, because there's far more that is made that can ever be preserved. And then there's a lot to learn about how to give access to it in a way that's legal, does not damage the originals, and but still makes the material visible and available and encourages people to research and to look. So there are many avenues now, but professionals encompass all of those things in detail. Some professionals are technical experts. Some are highly trained in the ability to select what to keep and what not to keep. Some are very adept in ways of giving access, both proactive access that they initiate, and access that they provide by responding to researchers who come asking for material. To become a well-trained archivist, librarian, audiovisual archivist can take up to 4 years training, depending on what course you choose, and can be very demanding. Well, part of the satisfaction is in my own country, where I've seen the work grow during my active lifetime. It was very small when I first came into this field. Now there's a separate institution that concentrates on the work, but also it's embedded in many other institutions, and there are training courses and so on. So the work has grown, and the collections have grown, and the use of the material has grown, and awareness has grown. Now we can replicate that across the world. It's very uneven. In some parts of the world it has grown rapidly, in other parts of the world it has barely begun. So the satisfaction is seeing these things take root and grow, and especially seeing younger people come into courses and take on what I believe is a vocation, not a job, and to stay with it. So One of the satisfactions for me is to be involved in training courses where I teach these young people and see how keen and dedicated they are. And I tell them, you won't get rich being an audiovisual archivist. It's a vocation. If you want to get rich, do something else. It's one of those professions where you have to say it matters, and I want to make a contribution to the survival of the public memory, and that's my satisfaction. Maybe nobody will ever know that I did it. You know, I might be just an anonymous person, but because of what I did, the material survives and it's accessible. My greetings to everyone at the university. Everyone is involved in audiovisual archiving or digital archiving, and especially those who are learning. And I encourage you to learn and to stick with it, and to be dedicated to preserving the memory of your country. Because if you don't do it, maybe nobody else will.